cartel.
Yeah.
Driving can feel routine, even predictable. But what happens when the unexpected turns terrifying? From staged accidents to daring escapes and chilling encounters, today we're diving into 8 of the most disturbing things ever caught on dashcam footage. Some are unsettling enough to make you second guess stopping for anyone, and others will leave you wondering what would you have done in their place. Before we begin, a quick warning: the final story is especially intense, so stick around because you won't want to miss it. For now, let's jump into the first chilling encounter. On the early morning of May 2nd, 2023, a driver in Browns Plains, Australia, captured disturbing footage on their dash cam. It started as an ordinary drive, with the car smoothly navigating a series of roundabouts before continuing down a straight road. But just 10 seconds into the footage, something shocking happened. A woman suddenly appeared, crossing the street as the car approached. What happened next left the driver stunned. She threw herself at the vehicle, seemingly on purpose. Seconds later, a man rushed out, appearing to help the injured woman, while frantically motioning for the driver to stop. The driver, sensing danger, made the quick decision to drive away. At first, he assumed it was a poorly staged insurance scam, a common tactic where individuals fake accidents to claim compensation. However, this wasn't just about money. The driver later reported to the police that while the dashcam didn't capture everything, he saw something chilling. As the man approached the car, a group of men emerged from the shadows, sprinting toward his vehicle from behind. Can you imagine the sheer terror of realizing you're being surrounded in such a calculated setup? Fearing for his safety, the driver sped off immediately, avoiding what could have been a far worse scenario. Whether it was a planned carjacking, extortion, or kidnapping, the group's intentions remain unknown. This terrifying event highlights the risks of stopping in situations that seem suspicious. The Browns Plains police launched an investigation, but those involved were never found. What would you do if someone threw themselves in front of your car? Could you tell the difference between a genuine accident and a potential threat? This story is a stark reminder to always stay vigilant. While our instincts often tell us to help others in distress, there are times when your own safety must come first. If you ever encounter a situation like this, staying inside your locked car and calling emergency services might be the best course of action. Would you have made the same decision to drive away, or would you have stopped to help, risking what might happen next? Let us know your thoughts. Sometimes, the danger is more organized and unfolds in unexpected places, as seen in this next story. This dashcam footage was captured in Nuevo Laredo, Mexico, on the early morning of January 3rd, 2020. A man and his wife had just crossed the border when they encountered something straight out of a nightmare. As they drove, they noticed cars lined up and a group of people standing in the road, blocking the way. At first, it looked like they were being waved through. The car ahead in the middle lane pulled forward, and the people motioned for them to follow. But just as they thought it was safe, a pickup truck appeared out of nowhere, cutting them off and blocking their path entirely.
It's the cartel.
Yeah.
See that?
The situation was dire, but the driver's quick thinking changed everything. He expertly swerved past the blocking vehicles, making a daring escape in the opposite direction. Groups like this one often set up roadblock traps to target passing vehicles, especially trucks. Once caught, they'll steal whatever they can: wallets, cell phones, and even the vehicles themselves. These stolen trucks are frequently repurposed for illegal activities, leaving the original owners stranded and shaken. That morning, multiple reports came in from drivers who weren't so lucky. Items like credit cards, cash, and valuables had been taken. Scenarios like this are a stark reminder that sometimes the road isn't just about where you're going. It's about staying aware of what might be waiting for you along the way. On September 6, 2018, a tractor-trailer got stuck on the train tracks near a small neighborhood in Chester, Virginia. The scene was captured by the dashcam of a truck owned by Mike Eugene, a local resident who stopped nearby to see what was happening. The crossing guard was already down, and the lights on the tracks were flashing, a clear warning that a train was approaching fast. In the background, the haunting melody of Ghost Riders in the Sky played on Mike's radio, setting an eerie tone for what was about to unfold. What would you do if you had just seconds to escape a disaster? A man can be seen running down the side of the stalled trailer before making a break for it. The driver and another passenger quickly jumped out of the cab. Within moments, a train slammed into the trailer, slicing it in half and sending debris flying everywhere. But that wasn't the end. Since the parking brake wasn't engaged, the semi-tractor rolled off the road after the collision. Here's the shocking part. This wasn't the first time something like this happened at this very spot. In fact, it's part of a pattern with deadly consequences. After the crash, Mike drove closer and asked the shaken truck driver if anyone was still inside when the train hit.
Nobody was in that truck, were they? You're all out, okay.
Thankfully, everyone had escaped in time and no one was hurt. But this dangerous crossing on Curtis Street has a dark history. In 2014, a similar crash here ended in tragedy. Just 2 months later, another truck got stuck and was struck by a train. And in 2016, it happened yet again. The issue? The crossing has a steep grade, and despite warning signs cautioning flat-bottom trailers about getting stuck, trucks continue to face this risk. Is there a better way to prevent these accidents? Or is this crossing doomed to repeat its deadly cycle? This tragic spot in Chester is more than just a crossing. It's a reminder of how a small mistake or overlooked danger can lead to catastrophic consequences. This shocking dash cam footage captures a terrifying moment. A man behind the wheel of a large trailer truck slowly dozes off as his vehicle races down the highway. At first, he glances out of the window a couple of times, perhaps fighting to stay awake, but soon his eyes close and he succumbs to sleep. By the time he opens them again, disaster is already in motion. The truck veers off the road, hurtling toward an overpass at breakneck speed. There's no time to correct course. In a horrifying instant, the truck flies off the edge and crashes onto the ground below. The force of the impact sends everything inside the truck flying, even knocking the driver's turban off his head. Amazingly, there were no vehicles passing under the overpass at that moment. The driver wasn't alone. His co-driver, who was resting in the truck's sleeper cabin, can be heard groaning in pain after the collision. Yet despite the violence of the crash, both men miraculously escaped without serious injuries. This footage quickly sparked conversations online, with many pointing out that the driver's seatbelt likely saved his life. Without it, this story could have had a far more tragic ending. Is this a case of human error or a deeper issue with how truck drivers are pushed to their limits? It's unclear where this footage was taken, and police haven't released any further details about the incident. However, it's highly probable the driver faced serious consequences, including losing his job and being charged with reckless driving. Late night drives can be peaceful, but what if the road you're on has a sinister reputation? Would you dare to keep going? Two friends were driving through a quiet town late at night, traveling down a road with a chilling reputation. Locals say that this stretch of road is haunted by the spirit of a woman in white, often spotted wandering the streets after dark. The friends had heard the rumors and decided to record their drive, hoping to debunk the stories. They didn't notice anything strange at first and thought they'd captured just another ordinary night. But when they reviewed the footage later, they discovered something spine-chilling. As they were driving, focusing on the road ahead, something fleeting appeared in the left rear-view mirror. It happened so quickly that it was almost invisible at first glance, but when they zoomed in and enhanced the footage, it became clear, a ghostly white face staring directly at them. The face was unnaturally pale, with dark sunken eyes and puckered lips. Could this really be the woman in white who haunts this road? Or is there another explanation waiting to be uncovered? Was it a trick of the light? Or did these friends accidentally capture proof of the paranormal? Whatever the truth may be, this haunting clip leaves an unsettling question. If you ever find yourself driving on a road like this, would you dare to look in your rearview mirror? Legends of hauntings are one thing, but what happens when the threat is all too real, with no escape in sight? This next story is a tale of quick thinking in a life or death situation. This dashcam footage comes from a pickup truck in Chile. The driver had just merged onto a highway on-ramp, following a vehicle in front of him. At first, everything seemed normal, but then the car ahead started to slow down, eventually coming to a complete stop in the middle of the ramp. What happened next turned an ordinary drive into a dangerous confrontation. As the pickup truck driver waited, unsure of what was happening, the doors of the stopped vehicle swung open. Two men got out, one appearing to hold a gun. The pickup driver instinctively tried to reverse, but another car had pulled up behind him, cutting off his escape. With no other options, he made a bold decision. He accelerated forward. His truck rammed the stopped vehicle, pushing it just far enough to maneuver onto the highway and escape. Even as the attacker's brake lights flashed, the pickup showed no signs of stopping. But who were these men, and why were they targeting this driver? The truth is even more unsettling. After the incident, the footage was handed over to the police and shared online. A few days later, the rightful owner of the stopped car came forward, recognizing their stolen vehicle in the video. This key detail helped police piece together what likely happened. The attackers had stolen the car days earlier and were now attempting to steal the pickup truck as well. In moments like these, staying calm and thinking fast can make all the difference. But what would you have done in this situation? This chilling footage was captured on November 2nd, 2014, along Highway 78, just past midnight. A car is speeding down the deserted road when the driver suddenly notices something strange. A roadblock made of just 2 traffic cones, completely blocking the entire highway. Curious but cautious, the driver slows down and eventually stops. His headlights catch something unsettling, the lower half of a man's body walking toward his vehicle. When the driver tries to maneuver through the cones, the man steps directly into his path, preventing him from passing. Realizing something is wrong, the driver calls out, trying to get an explanation.
What's going on? Can I help you with something?
Yes.
It might not have been the safest choice to engage with the man, especially given how bizarre the situation was. But what if the cones were there for a legitimate reason? The driver quickly discovers the truth when the man reaches into his pocket. Without waiting to find out what he's grabbing, the driver wisely floors the gas and speeds away. But what about the man's intentions? And was he alone in this eerie midnight encounter? According to the video uploader, the man wasn't working alone. He had an accomplice nearby. Thankfully, both individuals were detained by police shortly after the incident. However, despite the strange setup and the potential for danger, the men were only charged with DUI. Was this just drunken mischief, or could it have been something far more sinister if the driver had stuck around? This unsettling event reminds us that not everything is as it seems, especially on an empty road late at night. Sometimes the best move is to trust your instincts and get away before it's too late. What would you have done in these drivers' shoes? This shocking dashcam footage captures the exact moment a truck driver faced a terrifying ambush. The video shows multiple individuals lining the highway, using an improvised roadblock made of tree branches to bring vehicles to a halt. As the truck slows down, the attackers leap over the guardrail and unleash chaos, hurling sticks, rocks, and even chunks of concrete directly at the driver. It turns out the group responsible were illegal immigrants, angered by the recent demolition of a makeshift camp they had constructed nearby. Their frustration erupted into this violent display, with passing drivers caught in the crossfire. The truck driver, though fearing for his life, managed to break through the roadblock and escape. But his ordeal didn't end there. While he survived the ambush, the injuries he suffered tell a harrowing story, one that left lasting scars. Rocks and debris thrown through the windshield caused multiple wounds, forcing the driver to seek medical attention. Though he made it out alive, his injuries and the trauma of the experience serve as a stark reminder of how dangerous such situations can be. What could you do to protect yourself if faced with an ambush like this? While the motives behind this attack may be rooted in desperation, the risks for unsuspecting drivers are all too real. The question remains, how would you handle a sudden roadblock like this? Fight, flee, or something else entirely? The unexpected twists and close calls remind us how unpredictable the road can be. If this had you on the edge of your seat, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more intense and unbelievable footage. Hit the bell icon so you're the first to see what's next. Stay sharp, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.